Kirishana mitzvota. Mitzivanu lasok b'divrei Torah. 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 Okay. Yeah, we should dedicate this to Rabbi Shaw. Also, my friend Sam Delug, who died this weekend. We pass it around. Oh, you know what? You would probably love this. Got to return it. They just borrowed it. It's this book that you can't find.
Well,
Although Ron Hyman found it.
This is the one you were talking about.
But it's pretty. You just would dig it. You guys have a simpatico in your commitment to learning.
Yeah, I managed to get through like 3 parshas, and that was it.
And we'll borrow it again for him to do the other.
You guys can
one.
borrow, yeah. Especially now I got another copy from
Travel,
Ron.
We
I,
didn't want to keep it forever.
no, now I got another copy from Ron. I feel a little bit better. So I thought we would talk tonight about something that's hidden in plain sight. We may get to a second topic, which is why I brought this in case we do. This is, by the way, an anthology of different writings by Arya Kaplan. There's two volumes. It has a bunch of his little books inside of it. But I thought we'd talk about something else that is hidden in plain sight and hidden not so much in plain sight too. And for you and you and you and you and me, this touches on the very deepest part of our Judaism and humanity. The Brit Milah, the circumcision. Okay.
That's what we're going to talk about tonight.
That's a tough memory.
You don't remember.
There's an over-under bet as to how many jokes get told tonight.
If it's less than 3 digits, I'm taking the over.
So it is. We're gonna have what? Oh, Bezrat Hashem.
Oh, yeah.
B'shah Tova. Yeah, it's so and you know what's really interesting? A lot of things. What I find interesting is there's an entire anti-circumcision movement, including in England right now. They're just proposing a law. But what's so interesting is typically, and it's happened here in California multiple times. Do you know who leads the anti-circumcision movement groups? Women. It's not men. Across the board, it's women who say you should.
I could believe that. I've never been able to watch it. I'm always in the other room.
Well, you know what's really funny is if you do enough of these, right? Right.
Are they talking about not doing them, ritually, like as a, or they just
Yeah, they want to make them illegal. Yeah, no, they want to make it illegal. But what's really funny, I mean, is if you're at a bris, don't bother looking at the baby. Look at all the men, because it doesn't matter what direction they're facing in. When he does, like, they all go like this.
Of course.
Right? I mean, we didn't do right.
Yeah.
Although, how many of you have actually watched the bris? It's beautiful, isn't it?
Not
beautiful.
my own sons,
I start crying.
somebody else's.
But it's beautiful.
I couldn't watch my kids.
I couldn't watch my own either.
Well, you know,
I was in the
traditional.
other room with my kids.
This even before going to the bris, which means covenant. You know, when you do the bris, there's a person who holds the baby. It's called the sandek.
Yep.
The sandek is, we believe, the 2 holiest vessels of God's presence is a bride on her wedding day and a sandek at a bris. Which is why traditionally everyone lines up to the guy, to the person who's holding it, and they come in and he puts the tallis over them and he blesses everybody. How many of you have seen that? That's the traditional we do. And traditionally, the sandek is, although Persians kind of changed this in some communities, but traditionally, the father is not the sandek, because it's accepted the father's going to go like this, and that's going to make the kid have to stand 3 feet to the right of the urinal, and so we don't want to. You keep me track, right? So, and what else do you see when you see at a bris? What else do you see when you're at the bris? What else do you notice besides the cutting and besides the sandek? What else is very prominently placed there?
Wine, we do the blessings.
Right. Well, do you know why we do wine with the baby?
No.
It's not. I mean, there's a spiritual
Oh,
reason,
for soothing them.
but it doesn't. It's the sugar that does it.
Right.
So what Moyles do a lot is they'll give a little wine, but then they'll do sugar water.
Oh.
They'll give.
I haven't either noticed or seen that. I'm guessing noticed, but
Yeah, they do it. They'll do it. They'll often do it before they bring the baby out too.
Mhm.
So the baby's out. Because guess the kid has a no sugar resistance, so he gets high as a kite. That's the idea, hopefully. But what else do you see as a kisei shel Eliyahu? A chair for Elijah. When the baby is brought in, he's brought over the chair for Elijah. And this is, yes, we're honoring Elijah and the coming of the Messiah, but what it really is thumbing our nose at Elijah, who said that the Jews will not keep the commandments. And it's our way of saying, hey, see, we're keeping this one. Okay. You must eat at a bris. You have to have some food.
You must.
So you
That's
must.
part of the.
You must have
It's typically at any Jewish
But
function,
you must
but I
have.
didn't have anything.
You must have something. And
But what about on Yom Kippur?
guess what? It trumps Yom Kippur.
No, I know you have the bris, but you can't.
It trumps
eat.
It trumps
you
Yom
eat?
Kippur.
Wow.
Now there's some oils who will wait until sunset,
Right.
but they can't. The baby is born, and the day
Yeah,
is from
24 hours.
Kol Nidre
Right.
to Nila.
Right.
You have to do it, and you got to eat.
Okay.
Okay, you got to celebrate. Although there are some oils who don't. They'll say, "Well, we'll wait, or we'll do it 2 hours after Yom Kippur. We'll do it an hour before you." It must be done on the 8th day. If it is not done on the 8th day for a health reason, because that's the reasons you don't do it, it can be done anytime. So it's either done on the 8th day, or like in our case, because the boys had been in Nika, which is common for twins, we did it. They're like 2 months old. If you can't do 8th day, you can do whenever you get to it. Okay. There are 2 parts to it. There's the covenant of blood and the covenant of the name. Kriyat Hashem, the calling, the naming of the person. In Ashkenazi, we do not typically name the child after someone who's alive. In Sephardic, they do, typically do. And the idea is that the baby carries a bit of the name.
Of course.
That's with them. The parents are then going to be obligated afterwards to Pidyon Haben, redeem the child from the Levite for the Kohen, which is a ceremony that Kohen needs to do with silver coins in his hand. It's really very beautiful, and you're blessing the child with the coins, and with coins shaking over their head. And there's blessings you say. It's very cool. And then those coins typically are kept family passed down, or family heirlooms. But the breed itself is the primary commandment of Judaism. It is the primary commandment, if you think about it. Abraham's not told keep kosher. Abraham's not given the covenant because he says, do this, don't eat shrimp. It's for circumcision, it's for cutting the foreskin. So it's really important to understand why, because if everything is perfect created by God, why are we doing this? Okay.
Right.
What are some thoughts as to why we might be doing this?
To make a choice, like you're choosing to be Jewish.
Okay, so you're making a choice for your child.
Yeah.
Good. What else?
Cleanliness, I thought was a reason.
That's a fallacy.
Well, that's
Fancy.
That's
That's probably
it's the argument for circumcision, but not specifically just for.
and it's not. I mean, look, I don't. Without getting graphic, and I've been circumcised. Thank God. But I understand if you keep yourself clean, it doesn't really make a big difference. I don't know. I have nothing to compare it to. That I don't remember the first 7 days.
No.
So,
Nobody did.
Probably don't remember the 8th either.
Maybe to set us apart as a people.
sets us apart as a people. Absolutely does. It's a covenant, right? We make a deal. A covenant has 2 parties to it, right? You do this, I'll do that. So how many of you have raised children? Okay. When you had your child and your child was little, did you let them stick a fork in the outlet?
Let them.
Did you let them take a stick of fork and put it in the outlet? Why not? It's natural. It's what they wanted to do. Did you let them pick up a lighter and swallow it?
My kids did fight because of those things.
But did you let them do
Everything, no.
why? I thought they're
You're
perfect.
protecting them.
So you are
I
involved.
never said my kids were perfect.
You are involved as a parent with their protection, their growth, their development.
Yeah.
This is the statement of we're going to be involved in your development through your whole life, starting with your spiritual development. So I actually made some notes, which I don't usually do, because I want to make sure I didn't get quotes wrong, because I hate it when I get quotes wrong. So it is that you're going to be raising the kid, but it's on a deeper level. Is the world perfect? What is the Jew's job? What's our job?
To repair it.
So to rectify, to repair it, right? That's what our job is, literally. And it's a commitment. It's a mirror image in a small level of what's happening on a large level. Not that I'm saying the bris is small necessarily. It depends on the young man. That's too. Okay, but it's a mirror on a small level of on the large level that we need to rectify the world, and that's our job. Okay. I want to take a. There's no pen here. Do you have a pen? Okay. So I just want to write the word. Who reads Hebrew? Who reads handwriting?
Yes.
Sort of.
Okay. So, no, Hebrew handwriting.
With or without vowels?
What doesn't matter. You can read the letters.
Yes.
Okay. This is the word. Reshit, in the beginning. Okay.
From the beginning.
In the beginning when it began, but the whole thing, right? In this word, I can take out these two middle letters, the very two middle letters, which spell H or fire. And what does that leave me with? With four letters that spell read. In the beginning, God creates the universe with two covenants. One is the covenant of fire, Torah, covenant of our spirit. The other is the covenant that surrounds it, because it's hidden in the middle, is the covenant of our body, the brit. It's right there in the word, which is why this is one of those words that is expounded upon so much in so many different ways. There's the covenant of Torah and there's the covenant of the brit. So it is said in, this is why I need to make sure I wrote notes, in Nedarim 32a in the Talmud, it actually says the Brit Milah is equivalent to all of the mitzvot in the Torah because of that. Doing the bris,
Wait, didn't you say there was something else?
Sukkot counts.
Yes.
Sukkot counts as if you had done all the commandments.
Aha, okay. Got
Okay,
it.
but this is
Yeah, I do
this
listen
is
to you, you
this
know?
is that someone does. That's, obviously, you don't live with me.
Okay.
That's not true. Rocky listens to me. So right, and here's a great quote. I love this. It's from Ketuvot and from Tachuma. The Torah will revive everyone in the time to come because it's about their spiritual. So if you learn Torah, you got a place in the world to come. All Jews who have been ritually circumcised will reach the world to come. Period. Circumcision is kind of like the get out of jail pass. That's how important this is. Remember that his name is Avram. He puts the hay in for God's name. It puts God in our physical. We'll come back to that. So the Brit purifies the body while the Torah purifies the soul. Make sense to everyone? Okay. It's not just what we say. Bereshit Rabbah has a great thing. It says that everything that was created in the 6 days of creation requires rectification. We're talking, for example, mustard seeds need to be sweetened. Wheat curds need to be ground. Every man needs to be rectified through circumcision. So why don't we circumcise women? Why only men? So this is about rectification so that we are pure.
Does that go back to
That's
women
exactly
being
why.
more pure?
That's exactly why. Exactly why. That's exactly why. Because you guys have you ladies have a different level automatically than we do. So that's why, God forbid, we do that. Rashi teaches that we merited to receive instead of the Torah, specifically because of having performed the covenant of circumcision. It is called the covenant of love, and with Torah, and we received it because we had the covenant of circumcision. Make sense, everyone? It's just some great quotes on it. I loved this when I did some research on this. Abraham was circumcised on Yom Kippur. How's that to answer your question?
Did they eat?
Well, yeah, he would have eaten. 3 days later, he's going out and serving people. So, it's all of his children's souls will be entered the Holy of Holies on Yom Kippur because of him doing this. There are two places on him. This is a great quote from Shabbat 22. There are two places on a man's body where the Shekhinah resides in Israel's midst. So in our body, there's the heart, which is the dwelling place of the soul. The second is the Brit Milah. As the Midrash says, he stamped the name upon the children of Israel. The letter Shin appears upon the nose, the Dalet upon the hand, and the Yud upon the Milah. God said, when he's asked, what should I say is your name? Tell them I am El Shaddai. That's why it was Shin on the outside of the mezuzah. The Shin is this, is the nose, and the Dalet is our heart. Dalet also means doorway, and the Yud is
Down there.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So what is going on here? Maybe cleanliness, maybe that has a difference, but it's about a covenant. So what is it really doing? What makes us, in theory, different than animals? You work with animals a lot.
I think they're very human-like, and you can describe, and so I think they're wrong in saying that they're just animals.
I didn't say just animals. I said what makes this different. If a cat is in heat and a male cat comes by,
She says yes.
whether she wants to or not,
No, she wants.
she wants to. So she says yes. She wants to. She says, and he'll come, right?
He'll
Same
come
with
miles.
he'll come miles. Does it matter how he feels about that female cat?
I've not asked him.
Well, he's a dog or a cat. He's going to go to the next cat that's in heat just as quick.
Absolutely, you're right.
So it's not about intimacy, is it?
No.
Mm-mm.
And whatever cats mate, it's just such a horrible sound.
It cannot be a comfortable thing. I don't know if you're aware.
The male's cat, like,
A male.
Right,
a male
to get in there.
penis has barbs on it.
yeah, that's
That keeps it in place, I think. I don't know if they've really figured out why, but it's not a happy time for the female. I mean,
Ooh.
she wants it, but then she don't, right?
Yeah, they have litter after litter, but it's the, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't want to say it, but can I ask you something?
Anything,
If you're gonna talk about El Shaddai, and then the Yud is symbolic of that,
right?
why did they pick the smallest letter in the alphabet to symbolize that part?
Because it's also the letter that connects us to pure spirituality.
Okay, thank you.
If you remember the image of the Yud Hey Bob Hey,
Yes.
right in the top of the Yud, the kuts of the Yud is
Yes.
where God and Adam are, touching, and that's why.
Okay.
That's why. Because we're men, not horses. That's 3. Okay, right? I mean, so, but that's why it's there, because it's connection, and that's what really is important. So, human beings will get married, spend their lives together with one partner, which is antithetical to the animal kingdom. As a general rule, I understand wolves, and
There's
They
some
have
that mate
number
for
of
life.
species.
there's some that mate for life.
The birds and
The
yeah,
penguins
fish,
and
and
the-
every,
yeah, there's some.
there's
There's some that would.
every
Yeah.
group.
But this is all about mating to the exclusion of everyone else. So when a woman comes by in her thong and she's hot and gorgeous and she's in heat, for lack of a better term, and she comes up, Sandy, you don't care.
No. Cheryl is not here. No.
You don't care. Okay, I mean, it's not, our heart, our soul chooses to triumph over our lustful need. Is that true with all humans?
Apparently not. I would be a appellate Bruce.
It's not, right? And part of the reason is
It's because they're not circumcised.
that part of the reason is because they don't have the Brit Milah. So let's take a look at something. Okay, I want to take a. You all see this? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Remember, we've got 10 sphera, 10 energy centers, right? No laughing at my art. That's the energy part that we're talking. Okay. So you've got, starting from the part, the keter, the crown. The keter connects us with everything above, right? We keep a yarmulke on, keep keter on, reminds us of. But each one of these sefirot, each one of these energy centers, can also be split into 10. So, could I please have a prayer book? Okay. It's a bunch of them here, but we'll put. So, what do we do between Passover and Shavuot?
Count
The
them.
Omer.
Count the Omer. And how do we count them?
1, 2.
No, we don't actually. We actually do not count them that way. We count them.
Okay,
Go on. How do we count them?
yesterday it was the 7th day or whatever.
The 5th day of the 2nd week,
Oh.
right? Where's Omer in this book? So, but does anyone ever count the Omer? Have any of you ever actually counted the Omer?
We did one year.
It's great to do.
Every
Never did it.
It's,
Never know what it is.
it's a great. Why am I not finding it?
It's either on your Pesach or Shavuot.
Yeah, about finding it here. I thought it was in this particular prayer book. So you know what? I'm going to go to the prayer book I know better. Oh, where's the art scroll? Where is the art scroll? I know we have art scroll sitting because we bought them. Okay, here's one. The small ones. This is going to be problematic as well. So, the counting of the Omer, when you traditionally count, God, this is tiny. When you count the Omer, which are the days between Passover and is this a monster? Which are the days between Passover and Shavuot, you say this is the first day, this is the second day, but no one remembers what else you say? There we go, counting the Omer, page 400. So would someone please read? Actually, I'm not going to read it because I won't even be able to see it. Okay. So I really can't see this. Can someone read this print that's small enough in Hebrew? Just pick a day and read it in Hebrew. Orlando, do we have the Sphero book? Do you remember the orange, red, small Sphero?
Is Omar?
Okay, so I'm going to just translate because I know what it says by heart.
Oh,
Okay,
no. Omar.
it's okay. Today is such and such day of the counting of the Omer. Just looking to see if that book is here. I do not see it. Okay. Today is the I don't see it. You don't want to talk about this big, bright orange, red. I don't see it, so I don't think we have it here. No, I have one in my house. But, okay, when you're counting the Omer, no, it's okay. Thank you. All right, let's. You'll just have to trust me because he's struggling as hard as I am with it.
Well,
with
no,
the type.
it's, I mean, I can read it. The first day is Hayom Yom Echad Be'omer, Hayom Sheni Yamayim Be'omer, Hayom Shlishi Yamayim.
Okay, so what it says in the actual prayers is today is the blankety blank day of such and such a week.
Okay.
Okay, today's the 3rd day of the 5th week.
Right.
And then it says today is Tiferet Yesod. So the 6th week, the 6th week is the week of Yesod, which is that energy center. And then it says the 3rd day of it. So it will actually say, since the 3rd one is Tiferet, it will say the Tiferet Sheba Yesod. In other words, you're focusing not only on one energy center for the week, but each day is a different one of the aspects of the energy center. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes, no? Look, okay. This is all trying to do. This is a model, a big model. small circle, it has its own crown of crown, wisdom of crown, understanding of crown. And understanding has its own crown of understanding, wisdom of understanding. Crown. Does that make sense now? Okay, okay. You asked a great question about the yud and having the connection to God. You asked a great question. Who's going to see it? The penis is the physical manifestation of Yesod, the foundation of that energy center. Tell me when I lose anyone. Yes? They're with me? Okay. But the top or tip of the penis would be the crown of the energy center of sexual creation, of sexuality. With me again? Did I lose anyone or is everyone with me? There's a covering on the crown. But Jews remove that covering so that our sexuality is less about the cat and more about the spiritual connection. Does that make sense? That does not mean it is or more or less sensitive. I have no way of knowing. I have nothing to compare it to. Right? I have nothing to, but the idea is that your sexuality, your creative energy is being devoted to God. We're removing a veil when we do circumcision. Does that make sense to everybody?
Does it make sense? I don't know.
Does it intellectually make
Do I
sense?
understand what you're saying?
Yes. Does it intellectually make sense?
Sure.
What are your thoughts about it? You know, the men are even quiet about this.
It sounds almost like a link to intimacy, but the intimacy is broader than just man and woman, from what you're suggesting.
Well, specifically, the intimacy between man and woman becomes an intimacy
Between people
and God.
Between people and God. Right.
Exactly.
Makes
Exactly. It is. Why are you chuckling? Go ahead. Come on. We need number 5. Come on. What?
No, because the whole big joke about, I saw God, oh God, oh God.
But see,
Okay,
that is exactly perfect, though. Do you think that's a coincidence? You know, so okay. I don't know if it's the only one, but one of the physical reactions that is true among every culture in the world is a smile. Right? A smile is happy, content. That is, it doesn't matter what culture in the world.
You didn't see the gods must be crazy.
I did, but so many years ago. So many years ago. I
So
remember.
for them, this was no, this was yes.
But they still smiled.
And the smile was happiness, the not smile. The whole thing's backwards.
Oh, so
It was a spoof movie.
it was a spoof on it. I remember with the bottle. I remember the bottle.
The Coke bottle.
It fell from the sky,
So-
suddenly they needed it.
Exactly.
They'll put that-
Something they never had before.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the smile is a universal thing. It's also pretty universal, whether you're in Russia or you're in Israel or you're in Siberia or America, that when someone is having sexual pleasure, in whatever their language is, guess what they yell? Oh God. Right?
No idea.
No, it's apparently it's very.
No, we're not.
So it's because it is a spiritual experience. We have the book of Song of Songs of Shir HaShirim. The wisest man who ever lived, Solomon, wrote it. He wrote it when he was a young man. It's how he experienced God as a young man, which was through intimacy. That's why Shir HaShirim is NC-17 rated at the least, if you read a literal translation. And that's, as a middle-aged man, he sees it more in the workplace, in his family, and his wife. As an old man, he sees it in everything in life. But as a young man, you're exactly right. You're not off at all. Okay? We are making a commitment as a parent that you're not going to go be a horn dog. You're going to go use your sexuality for spirituality and for connection and for intimacy. And we're making a commitment that we're going to raise you. And this is our first step in it. We're going to give you boundaries. We're going to give you guidance. We're making a commitment that we're rectifying something that needs to be rectified. And we're making a commitment that we're going to rectify the world. So we're told that Adam and Abraham's soul are the same. But one of the big differences is Adam chose circumcision. So here's a question. Who circumcised?
Adam?
I'm sorry, Abraham did. Abraham chose, thank you, chose circumcision. Who circumcised Adam?
God.
I'm guessing he might not have.
He was born circumcised. That's what the Midrash says.
That's God.
It's God. He's born. By the way, what's the other thing that Adam did not have that we all have?
Belly button.
There you go. Okay, people don't think about that. It's so obvious too. So when we look at it all, it's a commitment to rectify. It is so important. It is the primary commitment of Judaism. You don't have to wear a yarmulke. You don't have to keep kosher. You don't have to. But this is the very first commandment. The very, very first thing. You've got to circumcise your babies, and it is because of that. And you give them a name. It's because of that we merited to come out of Israel. It's because of that, or Egypt, excuse me. And because of that, it's our covenant. We chose to do that, and it's a very, very big thing. And God forbid anyone prohibits, we still do it. Now, the byproduct is it's less now than long ago. You could always tell who the Jew was, couldn't you? Right?
Not anymore.
And that's why World War II spies were mostly women. Jewish spies were usually women. Because if you were caught, they'd say, drop your drawers. If you were caught, didn't matter. They didn't see it. So the bris is really, it's about, it is the first time the word bris is used is with who knows? What's the first time the word brit is used? Covenant. The rainbow. God makes a covenant. I'm giving you a rainbow. I'm never going to walk. I'm never going to drown you by water again. But that doesn't mean we can't do from that for other ways. But then we have this bris, and it is a covenant between God and us. As long as we keep this covenant, God will keep his covenant. Okay, does that make sense to you? So it's really very, very powerful and deep, isn't it?
Yeah.
And when you look at it from the point of view of it's cutting off the veil of your sexuality, the veil that's between your sexuality and your spirituality, it's cutting it off. And that it is the part of creation. It surrounds, Bereshit, it surrounds the covenant of love, the covenant of passion, the covenant of fire, the covenant of the Torah. It's surrounded by a covenant of our body. The Torah is the rectification of our souls. The Brit is the rectification of our bodies to contain our souls. Hidden in plain sight. Okay?
Question.
Yes. I don't know about cats.
I've been asked one recently. It was about Joseph and burying himself to his family.
Mhm.
He's in a whole situation where Jews are not real people. The Pharaoh has made all these Jews before he.
No, when he reveals himself, he's the vizier. He's the number 2 guy in town.
Didn't everybody know he was Jewish since he had to get naked at some point?
It's a good question. I don't know the answer to the question. I mean, it's not an issue whether they knew he was Jewish. He had to prove to his brothers he was Jewish.
I understand, but it just seems like he would have stood out. Sometime in his lifetime, he had to be swimming in the Nile or bathing or.
I don't know that you have to be in a public position where you're showing. You got to be pretty close to tell whether you're circumcised or not.
Oh, because Miriam, his sister, already knew.
No, that's Moses' sister.
Oh.
Joseph is before.
You're correct.
So Joseph did. So I don't know.
I mean, they all knew that he came from.
They all knew where he came from.
And I don't
So-
know that it was an issue.
Yeah, it wasn't like there was anti-Semitism rolling around. It wasn't like today
Not
that way.
time.
No, they're just from a different part.
Okay.
But his proving to his brothers was not about Egypt. It was about proving to
Yes.
them.
Who he was. I
Yeah, but he
understand.
says everyone leaves the chamber because he's not going to lower his drawers for everybody.
But then the same with Moses. Everybody must have known that he was Jewish because.
Of course they did.
So but because he was adopted by them.
Exactly.
Family, it
Yeah.
was okay.
No, it was never a question. They knew that he was. Yeah, they
He
knew
was
that.
the exception to the rule. All the others were semi-human, but he's a full.
No, they viewed the Jews as human. They didn't view Pharaoh. Pharaoh didn't view them as animals. He viewed them until he loses, when he dies, when he becomes, we talk about it in Shabbos, when he dies and he loses his soul. There's a phrase that was actually in this past week's Torah portion of that Pharaoh dies. And it's normally, so everyone knows that you start A new Pharaoh rose who knew not of Joseph, right? But later on, right before the plagues start happening, before Pharaoh becomes a real pain in the neck and starts really pushing on the slavery and the horrible tortures, it actually says Pharaoh dies. That Pharaoh died. And Rashi and other commentators comment that it was not a physical death, but he gave up his soul. It was a soul. He only had an animal soul. Sorry about the insult on animals, but he only had an animal soul. He didn't have the human, so he gave up his human soul. So, we talked about that this past week during Shabbos. So, it is the way we recognize it is such an important piece, and so beautiful, and so wonderful, and such a celebration. Then what do we cut? We cut the foreskin. Then what do we cut next?
Oh.
What? The challah. There's another cutting ceremony.
Yeah.
There.
3 years later.
Mhm.
Oh. Going through
3 years later.
What's
The
the,
Upsharim.
what's the significance?
In the book of Leviticus, it says that you shall not take any fruit from a tree the first 3 years. It makes the tree stronger. So from that we derive, you shall not cut the hair for the first 3 years. It makes the
That's
baby
right.
stronger. And then you cut the hair, and you're now opening it up as well. So they become strong enough you can open up the crown with some cutting hair. But beyond that, what else happens at an Upsharim? We trace the letters in honey. So the child goes like this and associates sweetness with the Hebrew letters. And we toss candy up to land on the children. How many of you been to that? Have you seen that?
Is that a Persian thing? And not-
No. The Persians have taken it, not just Persians, but many people have taken it now. It was Sephardic, and now it's just sort of common at bar mitzvahs. They'll throw candy. It comes from you're tossing candy up so it comes down. The idea being that the ancestors who are not there are blessing the child
Oh, how sweet
with
is that?
sweetness. That's where it comes from. And
Well, thanks for explaining the 3-year thing, because nobody ever.
that's why,
I've heard
because
that before.
you're
No,
not
I
supposed to
never
take
heard
the fruit off a tree for the first
for
3 years.
3 years, right?
Because it makes it stronger. So we let the hair grow for the first 3 years, and we make a big celebration. And
Yeah.
we cut the hair. And
We didn't go that far, but a lot of, we do know.
yeah,
several
no, we
people.
did it. We did it. Yeah, you do it 3 years, or you wait till Lag BaOmer after.
Right.
Because that's a big haircut. So, some new information about the pee-pee. No, that's a
Yeah.
technical term. Okay. All right. The other thing I want to just touch on a little bit, because it's another thing hidden in plain sight, and I figured, again, for quotes, I have this. I figured it was worth exploring a little bit, since we're going to talk about the male thing, talk about something that is for men and women, but is more often used by women, which would be the mikveh.
Oh, right.
Be the mikveh. So it says, I want to get the exact quote in the Torah. Well, it says if I can find it. Okay, I actually have to look in the Torah. Okay, I'll find it here. It says in the Torah, the Garden of Eden is created. Everyone remember that? Okay. And can someone describe the Garden of Eden?
Yeah, an apple tree.
Right.
Probably not an apple tree. Probably a pomegranate or fig tree. But yes, there's a tree of fruit. Okay. What else? So I'm going to read to you the original description. So Hashem God planted a garden in Eden in the east and placed there the man whom he had formed. And Hashem God caused to sprout from the ground every tree that was pleasing to the sight and good for food, also the tree of life in the midst of the garden and the tree of knowledge of good and bad. The next phrase is the interesting one. A river issues forth from Eden to water the garden, and from there it is divided and becomes 4 headwaters. And then it goes on to list what these 4 rivers are. When Adam's thrown out of Eden, the first thing he does is go bathe in one of these rivers. So all the water source, this pure spiritual water from Eden, leaves Eden in 4 tributaries. And Adam goes and does a ritual bath. That is where all the water from, that's where mikveh water comes from. That's why it's pure spiritual water. It cannot be tap water. So it has to be over 200 gallons. at least 200 gallons. What does anyone know in a mikvah? What how do you get the water from a mikvah? So one way is you have a cistern on top of the building, and then it has to come down through a pure vessel or pipe that cannot get contaminated, and then it goes into the pool. How many of you have taken a mikvah? Never taken a mikvah? Mikvah's beautiful. Mikvah's magnificent. When someone's having problems getting pregnant, say go to the mikvah. The Jewish soul's heading out there. That's what Rabbi Abraham taught me years ago. And it's very special and very beautiful. You're commanded as a woman to do it after she's done with her menstrual period. You're commanded as someone going through conversion to do it. You're commanded to do it at any number of different times like that when you've been sick or something like that. You're also commanded, or not commanded, but the custom is to do it before Chag, before Passover, before Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. How, if it's got, so that's one way is a cistern. How else can you get water? What else is a mikvah?
River, ocean.
River, ocean, stream, lake. It's got to be natural water. How do they do it at the University of Judaism? Does anyone know? Anyone ever done that mikvah? At the University of Judaism, how many of you been to the University of Judaism? Now, AG. Okay. It's a building, and in the middle floor of the building is where the mikvah is. How do they get the water there? So what they do, and it was approved by the conservative movement, is they get frozen lake water. They put it in a compartment over here, and it takes a few days, and it thaws out. This is the pool that people go in, and they every time someone goes in, they then clean or whatever. And then when the person goes and take a mikvah, it's filled. They unstop it, and this pure mikvah water comes out. And that's how they do it. A mikvah has 7 steps going into it, one for each of these 7 days, one for each of the 7 bottom sefirot, bottom energy centers. And then you dunk 3 times to make it 10. Kabbalistically, you dunk 3 times for every one of your 10 sefirot, your energy centers, focusing on each one each time, total living the era. And there's some great quotes about mikvah that are some really interesting teachings. The Talmud tells us that all the water in the world ultimately has its root in the river that emerged from Eden. In a sense, this river is the spiritual source of all water, even though a person cannot re-enter the Garden of Eden itself. Whenever he associates himself with these rivers or with any other water, he is thus reestablishing his link with Eden. We thus find a midrash which tells us that after Adam was driven from Eden, he repented by sitting in this river. Okay, so that's what the story I just told you. So there is, the Hebrew word mikvah means a pool or gathering of water. And it says, only a spring and a pit, a gathering of water shall be clean. That's from the book of Leviticus. That's where we get with the definition of the kind of water it is. And where's the other one I want to say? The mikvah, no other liquid can be used other than water. And there's 6 necessary conditions. That has to be water. It must be either built into the ground or an integral part of the building. Cannot be running or flowing. Cannot be drawn, as you can't go take it from a lake and bring it over. It cannot be channeled to the mikvah for anything that become unclean, and it must contain approximately 200 gallons. All these rules, why do we need these rules? Why do we need to go in water?
Water has been universal for cleansing, purifying, starting over, rising up.
Yeah. It's commanded by God to do that, to cleanse ourselves. Does that mean we're dirty before we go in?
Whether you're dirty or not, being cleaner is the end result.
So
Like the Holy of Holies and the year before with the priest going in. It's not sending in the dirty priest.
No, it's making it a little cleaner. And so I invite, does anyone know another custom of people who are supposed to take a mikvah? It's not law, but it's custom. Oh, come on.
Before you get married.
So couples say to me, Rabbi, I don't want to take a mikvah. Why should I take a mikvah? Did any of you take a mikvah before your wedding?
We tried. They were closed.
It's better than what happened to Allison once with a mikvah. Did I ever tell you guys this story?
Mm-mm.
So we do it. I'll tell a groom and a bride, I'll say, look, you're washing off any other girl you might have kissed. Not that you did, but in case you did, you're washing them off. When a new Jewish community is started, so we go to a city, we go to Dubai. Okay, there's no Jewish community there. It's going to start a Jewish community and go to Dubai. What the mikveh is the first thing that must be built, even before the temple. Before the temple.
But the cemetery was the first.
No, the mikveh actually, I understand the first.
I don't know.
Look, yeah,
Because Abraham bought a cemetery.
he bought the Machpelah,
Yeah.
which when we go to Israel, now this is going to be really cool. Are you guys going to join? I forget. Are you guys coming?
We're not able to this year, sorry.
And you're not sure if you're going or not.
I'm not sure.
So, and it doesn't apply to the ladies. We're actually going to go to a mikveh that its roots are a couple thousand years old at Machpelah, and the men will be able to take a mikveh. It's been rebuilt. It's called the Schwartzy mikveh,
Schwartzy.
after Schwartzy, his followers of his that rebuilt it. So when we go, we'll take a mikveh, which is kind of cool, you know, in Hebron. Who controls who's in charge of the mikveh?
I don't-
Whoever the rabbi, the leader of the community, is he there as a boss or a servant?
Servant.
I was thinking more of a show, yeah.
Which is a servant, a messenger, he's a servant, right? Doing everything. So when we did IVF, we wanted to do a mikveh for her prior to. So I don't know how much any of you know about IVF, but basically, you shoot your wife up with drugs so she stops producing eggs. Then you shoot your wife up with drugs so she overproduces eggs. And then on a given day, you go to the doctor and they harvest her eggs and they put you in a small room with a VHS machine. I was so irritated. I actually said to the doctor, who was a friend, you couldn't have like a glass wall and fluffers or something. Literally, they had Betamax. That literally was pretty ridiculous. And you know, and you come back with this specimen in a bag, and they take it and they mix the stuff together, and poof, you have embryos. In 5 days, you do genetic testing. In 5 days, that's how IVF works. We wanted to do mikvah before the night before, the day before. We're going to go do that. Each of the times we did, because we had to do it 3 times before we finally had the boys. There was a mikveh. We were living on the west side. Mikveh in Santa Monica we'd done. There was a new mikveh that had just been built in Redondo Beach, and Allison calls. It's a Chabad. She calls up, and the wife of the Chabad, the junior Chabad rabbi, so the wife is maybe 19, with all the Chazarai that goes with that world. And Allison says, I want to come take a mikveh. And well, do you know anything about mikveh? My husband's a rabbi. I know about the mikveh. Well, who's your husband? Well, I don't know him, so he's not a rabbi. And it's our mikveh, and you're not part of our congregation, and you can't use it. So I called up and spoke to her husband, who was just as arrogant. And then I called Old Man Cunin. And after I got off the phone with him, 10 minutes later, this punk's boss called me apologizing. Okay. Fast forward a few years later, 20 years later, 15 years later, that junior rabbi is now the senior rabbi in Redondo Beach. And someone who went through conversion wanted to do a mikveh. She went through conservative conversion, wanted to do a mikveh before they were going to go do IVF. And before they were going to try and get pregnant, I remember what she was. And this rabbi would not let her in, saying, "You're not Jewish." Yeah, it's kind of sad, isn't it? It's kind of painful. But the mikveh is a service that we provide for everyone. Someone is in charge of it, but it's not as a boss, it's as a servant. It is the ability to remember the preciousness of life. When you go, so who's gone? You've gone. Gone? Who else is gone? You've gone. Anyone else? Just the two of you? Okay. When you go into the mikveh, you need to have no makeup, nothing on. Okay, nothing between you. And you go under water, and the idea is in that mikveh, You fully empty your lungs, like in a meditation. So you're not holding your breath, but rather you're going and you sink. Just you do it 3 times, focusing on each of these energy centers. And ideally saying the Shema for each energy center. But instead of Shema Yisrael, Shema Keter, Hashem Elokeinu, Shema Chokmah, Shema Bina, etc. And you realize very quickly how precious life is and how it needs to be rectified, how it needs to be treated, because we can't stay underwater forever, can we?
No.
So the mikveh, if you haven't done it, I really want to suggest doing it. I really do. It's a really, I mean, you've done it. It's a special experience. I mean, what did you do for a wedding, or just because high holidays, or
Wedding.
for your guys' wedding, or so you did it for someone else's bride?
No.
I'm a little confused here. Do we want to talk about this in public, or what?
We have a life BS.
You have? I'm sorry. You have
We have a life BS.
beyond shul?
Before Cheryl.
No, you didn't.
It's a true fact. It's all gone.
The what? The mikvah?
It's all gone.
Washed it all away.
Cleansed up.
And there is. Look, I said I never kissed a woman before Allison, and that is my story, and I am sticking to it. It's very powerful, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really an amazing experience. And then you can go in and into a mikvah like on Pico. Conversely, where guys are just rushing through to get it's like taking their shower, and there's no meaning, but it also can be very deep and very powerful, and very beautiful, which is what I'm looking forward to in Israel. So it is really about putting us in sync again with the universe. And both these rituals are right there for us to look at. But you know, the real question is, I'm not going to ask if the men want to be circumcised again, but how many of you want to go take a mikvah?
Sure.
No, maybe, kind of.
Um,
It's okay.
in my old age, I've become creeped out by getting in water somebody else has been in. I don't go in swimming pools anymore. I'd swim in the ocean, I'd swim anywhere.
Okay.
The idea that somebody else's house matter is in that water, I'm done.
I'd say, well, first of all, you could do it in a place of nature. Number one. You also could do is you could go down to Too Much Ponds, do it in their swimming pool because it's a fresh pool every day that they refill. You could do it in Ojai, same type of thing, at Tilaha. But you also, if you do it at UJ, they empty and refill it. Okay, there's this part of the mikvah, they empty, they refill with regular water, and then when you get in is when they pull the stopper and the mikvah water comes in. It's kind of like a homeopathic. Right, you have a little bit of mikvah water that comes in, and so now it's considered. It's a pretty interesting experience, and I really want to recommend it. It's really powerful. It really makes you look at the world. Don't you think? I mean, you've done it. So wouldn't you say that?
Staying underwater is amazing.
It's
Just staying under, just not in a mikveh, but I used to swim competitively for years and years, and going underwater, going back and forth under the pool. How far can I go? And just how far can I fall down? And how long can I hold my breath?
And so you'll get it. The idea of emptying your lungs, not holding it when you're in the mikvah. Really, it's a really powerful experience, and one that I recommend to everyone. I don't recommend circumcision to everyone. In fact, I don't recommend circumcision to anyone except for 8-day-old babies. But it really is a beautiful thing. So I just thought it'd be worth spending a little bit of time on those two rituals because they're both right here present. Good information, waste of time, be honest.
Great information.
Okay. And I'm sorry, but we got the over under, we're way under.
Wait.
Way under. Because it was very small. But
The 8. No. 'Cause one of them I gave 3 to. So
Okay. And that's really, I think it's so important to understand how powerful these things are, and that when someone says, how many of you have encountered someone who said, I don't think I want to circumcise my child?
Yes.
Jewish, someone Jewish.
Yeah.
And did they ultimately do it or no?
In some cases, I don't know. I didn't follow up. It's
I haven't heard of anyone who didn't want to circumcise. I've heard it. There's been several that haven't wanted to do a brisket with a moil at home. They wanted it done in the hospital. Yeah, but I
My
don't know.
ex-husband was not Jewish and we talked about it. He was okay with it, but we never wound up having a son, so it all
Right.
became moot.
Right.
At that time, the whole thing was that you'd have more sensitivity if you kept the rather than circumcising. That was the thought processes that year.
Yeah, there's arguments all the time, and San Francisco's tried repeatedly, and California has tried. And I mean, God, that's the time when okay, enough is enough. We're leaving the country. God forbid. The Seleucid Greeks, the reason the Hashmoneans went to war was they could put up with the idea of forbidding holidays. They would not put up with the idea of forbidding circumcision. So when you encounter someone, and it's going to happen more and more, I think, who says, "Yeah, I don't want to, my baby's perfect. Why should I do this?" Hopefully, this gives the ammunition to realize why it's so important, because I think it is. And I actually know someone. I've known a couple of people, and I know someone right now who was raised Jewish, and father was Jewish, mother was not, and I've known a couple of people like this, but raised Jewish, considered themselves a Jew, and then ultimately went through a brit because at some point inside themselves they felt like, am I really a Jew? I need to
Cut the cord.
cut the. It's pretty amazing what they do.
Fast. Okay, fine.
They do it so fast.
Mhm.
What else do it fast? So, by the way, you know who it has been tradition that the kings of England have always been circumcised. You aware of that?
No.
Yeah, it's been tradition the kings have always been circumcised because they know Jesus was, and it was never done by doctors. It was done by the chief Moyle because the Moyle had a lot more experience.
Sure.
I only recommend Moyles who are also doctors, just so you know. Andy Spall.
Right.
Do you guys know Andy? Do you know?
No, but one of the doctors that I used to, OBGYNs that I worked for, was also a Moyle for that reason.
Poliakin?
No, it was a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Goldenberg.
Goldenberg.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I only recommend doctors.
Yeah.
Just for a lot of other reasons too.
I don't remember
So that is our
who are more
hidden. I hope this was hidden and this was worthwhile.
Yeah.
Everyone's very quiet, considering. Maybe it's because it's about
Well, I
cutting.
can say I'll make an effort not to stay in the other room next time. I guess, but
Yeah.
Yeah, depending on who does it, you may not be allowed, and you may not be allowed, and if it's ultra orthodox, but you should. Most of the time, you're allowed. You're right in the same room. It's. But watch the men. That's what's so funny. Watching the other men in the room, they could be facing the exact opposite direction, but when it happens, everyone flinches. It's like all of us know on some,
Of course. How could you not?
intuitive level. It's like, oh,
Right.
You talk about it, my flinch.
That's right.
Yes.
I have been to, and they're always a blessing. Here's another question about a bris. Do you need to be invited to go to a bar mitzvah or wedding,
No.
private party?
Oh, private party?
Party part or the bar mitzvah part?
Bar mitzvah, bar mitzvah is public reading, but a wedding, let's say. If you're invited to a wedding, you don't just wedding crash, right?
Yeah, you and, yeah. Well,
There's a bris, you're encouraged to crash it. It is a celebration
Because
for
it's a
all the Jewish
right.
people.
It's like a commandment. kind
It's
of
yeah,
thing.
because it's so important. It's so important, and it really is our soul within our body. So, service this Friday night. Right, Elena? Yes. And then next Wednesday we have Talmud and Tobacco. And
Next
we have
week we'll have class for now.
We have class, and then we have Talmud and Tobacco. And then I'm doing this tomorrow.
yeah.
Yeah, he's going to send you the email, and you'll get copies of it.
I don't have a printer, and in work we just have one printer. We ran out of ink today, so there's no way I can. If you don't give me a hard copy, I can't.
Oh,
copies.
we'll figure it out. Or do we want them or not? Doesn't matter,
I
man.
can give them out at the next meeting. I mean, you can tell people that.
Whatever. We'll
I'll
figure.
just say I forgot them and bring them.
Well, no, don't say that. We'll figure.